Here we go again. Bleacher Report is urging the New York Jets to make a trade that would attack a position of need that Darren Mougey has not done enough to help out in the previous all season with the New York Jets. And we got to break it all down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long, as it looks like there's a spider on my camera, but we're going to keep pushing here. Only 39.8% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed, please take a second, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out a ton. But what the Bleacher Report, the good people from Bleacher Report, are urging the New York Jets to do is trade Breece Hall, our star running back, for wide receiver Jaylen Tolbert and a 2026 fourth-round pick. Now, the first question you may be asking is probably, who the heck is Jaylen Tolbert? Jaylen Tolbert is an I believe it was 2023, third-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys. His thing was, he was from the University of South Alabama. His claim to getting drafted really highly was obviously good film, but mostly he put up a ton of yards in college. The problem was he put up that huge amount of yards with no other NFL talent in his offense, and it turns out he was just beating up on weaker, non-power 4 defenses and taking up all the targets because he had a quality quarterback while not having any other quality receivers in his offense. If we look at what Jaylen Tolbert has done in the NFL, first, his rookie year, 12 yards. Sophomore season, 268 yards. His third season, this previous season, 610 yards. Not the best of what you're looking for. Could still be a wide receiver too. But let's talk about why Bleacher Report believes that the New York Jets would be interested in making this trade. They wrote, the Jets have a three-man backfield with Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis pushing for touches. When you consider quarterback Justin Fields' ability as a ball carrier, Gang Green can afford to trade Hall for draft capital, especially if the team does not expect to retain him in free agency next season. The Jets can trade Hall for a mid-round draft pick and Tolbert, who can immediately bolster their wide receiver unit while still maintaining a robust ground attack with Allen, Davis, and Fields leading the charge. So, I am not super excited to be, trading Breece Hall. Aaron Glenn has already put the Breece Hall trade rumors to rest, but everyone wants to keep bringing it up. The thing about Breece Hall is how it works. Of course, they said if you're not going to retain him, you want to trade him because you want to make sure you can get anything for him instead of nothing. That's always how you want to do stuff. That's good business. But Breece Hall is one of the best offensive players we have on a team that we are expecting to probably struggle on offense, and we're expecting to run the ball a ton. So a team that's going to run the ball a lot, why would you give away your number one running back, your most talented runner on your entire roster? That doesn't make sense. The way that a Breece Hall trade would make sense would be if the New York Jets at the trade deadline, it was clear and obvious that it was a lost season, then you would go ahead and trade Breece Hall. The ideal return would be a third-round draft pick. So a lot of people have been sending me this trade and saying how gross it is, and I don't like this trade return, but it's not super far off from what I would consider an ideal return for Breece Hall. Yes, we drafted him in the second round, and he's been a successful second-round pick, but running backs have the shortest shelf life in the NFL of any position on the football field. So the fact that we've already used Breece Hall for 3.5 or 4 years, that lowers his trade value from the second round pick that he originally was drafted with to a lower round pick. Also, another reason why his trade value would be lower than that second round pick is because he would now be owed a bigger contract. The rookie contracts, one of the best things about them is they're nice and cheap. First round are the most expensive contracts. Second rounds are a little bit cheaper, and so on and so forth. But you are excited to take guys in the first round because you expect that even though they're a more expensive rookie contract, you expect that you're getting a difference maker, a high upside player, someone who could be an absolutely amazing player that you can build your franchise around. Now, talking about Jaylen Tolbert, not really sure exactly where he fits in with the Dallas Cowboys offense, whether he is the wide receiver 3 or the wide receiver 4. I know they have some other wide receivers that they are very excited about, although 610 yards is nothing to scoff at, especially in a season where your starting quarterback, Dak Prescott, gets injured and you're playing with worse quarterback play. Now, Jaylen Tolbert going to be behind at least George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, which makes him certainly more expendable for the Dallas Cowboys. They're not going to sit here and go, oh, we definitely want to, hang on to Tolbert. If the Dallas Cowboys get a Breece Hall trade, we get on the phone, call up Jerry Jones. We offer them a 4th-round pick and Jaylen, or we say, just give us a 4th-round pick and Jaylen Tolbert, and you guys can have Breece Hall. The Dallas Cowboys are going to jump all over that. If you pay attention to the Dallas Cowboys, you know what they want to do. They want to run the ball a lot, and they want to stop the run. They want to stop the run so bad, they traded away their best pass rusher for a run stuffer. They want to stop the run. Breece Hall gives them the opportunity to have the running back that they've been looking for since Ezekiel Elliott declined. He had a ton of great years in the NFL, but now he's starting to go down. I don't want to just give them Breece Hall, who I'm sure would blossom into a superstar behind the Dallas Cowboys. At least 3 first-round picks on their offensive line. Dallas always makes it a very important point to go out and go draft offensive linemen in the first round. Drafted Tyler Smith a couple years ago, drafted Tyler Booker this year, and then they have another Tyler. It might be Tyler Guyton, but don't quote me on that. They have a ton of Tylers on that offensive line. Breece Hall, I'm sure this would be a great trade for him. He would probably score more points, get more rushing yards, get more receptions on the Dallas Cowboys offense. But when we are still competing and when the goal is to put as good of a talent pool and just options around Justin Fields, it doesn't make sense to go out, at least today, at least on September 2nd, I had to check the date, at least on September 2nd, when we're talking about this now, Breece Hall, it still does not make enough sense to trade him, especially when you are not getting a day 2 pick back. I understand a 3rd-round pick might be a little bit too high of a return for Breece Hall. I'm sure there are GMs in the NFL who do not deem Breece Hall as worthy of a pick that high, but I'm just saying that's the ideal return. That's a return where someone comes and offers us a 3rd-round pick for Breece Hall. You got to say you have to take that deal. When you're not a team that is going to be competing for a Super Bowl, the running back needs to be, because of their short shelf life, they have to be like the cherry on top of the sundae. You got to build out the rest of the dessert first, then go get the running back. That's what the San Francisco 49ers did with Christian McCaffrey. They went to the Super Bowl with Christian McCaffrey. They didn't win it, but they went there. And then that's what the Philadelphia Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. And, obviously Saquon Barkley looked phenomenal. I'm actually not positive that the Niners made it to the Super Bowl with Christian McCaffrey, but their offense was unlocked when they added Christian McCaffrey to that offense on top of what was already an awesome offense with Kyle Shanahan calling the shots. Right now, the New York Jets don't project to have a crazy offense that needs the running back added. And also, like I said, still don't want to trade Breece Hall, but something has to be said. For some reason, during those preseason games, it just feels like when Braylon Allen touches the football, good things happen. And I'm watching Breece Hall and I go, he is so much more talented than Braylon Allen. And he seems to do everything better than Braylon Allen, other than break tackles, other than, truck people, and other than like goal line stuff. But other than that, it feels like Breece Hall is so much better than Braylon Allen. But for whatever reason, the blocks are so much better with Braylon Allen. The run plays just look so much better, and it feels like so many times just better things happen when Braylon Allen is touching the football than Breece Hall. I think this is just very unlucky from the preseason. I had to dive into the film and be like, what is going on here? There was one play where, for some reason we decided to have our rookie tight end Mason Taylor. His job on a play was to block. He had to get to the run was going to the right, and he had to step in front of Brian Burns and one-on-one block Brian Burns. And of course, Brian Burns, who is a Pro Bowl level guy, goes right through a rookie tight end and blows up Breece Hall in the backfield. There were a ton of plays like that where you are looking at it. There were schematical errors, or there were a couple of plays where Armand Membo got like swum move in the run game, and he was actually on the ground, and then Breece Hall was of course getting tackled behind him. For whatever reason, as much as I want to say these plays are fluky, the team just plays better with Braylon Allen, and you have to ask yourself at some point, when is it not luck, and when does the run game, for whatever reason, just work better with Braylon Allen? I'm not saying Breece Hall is a problem in the locker room. He's given us every indication that he's awesome for the locker room, and I love listening to his interviews because he always says the right thing. But sometimes players on your football team just like playing with other players more. They play harder for those players. Something that comes to my mind, certainly, and I know a lot of football fans' minds, is a couple of years ago when Nick Foles took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl. Everyone would talk about how that team played harder for Nick Foles than they did for Carson Wentz. Even though Carson Wentz led them to something amazing, like an 11-2 start that football season, Nick Foles took them the rest of the way, and they played so well with Nick Foles, and they were really able to rally around him. Maybe that's just a possibility of what could be happening with Braylon Allen and Breece Hall, but it's very head-scratching why the offensive, just the run game, just feels so good. It's a feeling. It feels like good things happen when Braylon Allen touches the football. Not for the Green Bay Packers DB, who was injured after he trucked him, but Braylon Allen is an absolute monster who we, of course, want to see touch the football, but not if that means trading away Breece Hall. There's going to be enough running touches for everyone to go around this football season. We need to make sure that we are the number one team in terms of volume running the ball and in terms of running backs touching the football. With not a lot of wide receivers, a rookie tight end, and 3 good running backs, you have to imagine the New York Jets will do just that when it comes to the running game. But that's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.